Merry Christmas, guys, and hopefully you're staying warm. It's about 14 degrees here, and I guess it's like 40 degrees down in Miami Beach, Florida. So it's cold. You might be another part of the world. It might be somewhere where you're at. It might be in Australia. So anyway, Merry Christmas, and hopefully you're able to spend time with family. So let's talk a little bit about the crypto markets, what I'm seeing, what opportunities I'm seeing, and the time frames of when I think it'll play out. Now, cryptocurrency is not completely a zero-sum game. There is more energy coming to this asset class as time goes on. So it's not completely a zero-sum game. There's going to be people that are going to come in and they're going to make a decent amount of money. And it could be in their first cycle, but most of the time, people get way out of whack. They follow the wrong people. They get bad advice, and 95 to 99% of the crypto market is scams, or it's a mousetrap to take your Bitcoins, take your Ethereum, take your BNB, take your dogecoin, take your litecoin, take your Monero, so on and so forth. So you have to watch out for that. And timing is impeccable. People say, oh, don't invest in these altcoins, and they get Bitcoin maximalists and stuff like that. Doesn't make sense to me. You can earn way bigger multiples in the alt market if timed right than you can in Bitcoin. And we've seen that over and over again. People felt like they couldn't get rich in Bitcoin, so the last cycle, 2017, 2018, they went for Ethereum. Thought they could get rich there. They went after that. This cycle, they went after Doge. The people that missed Doge, they suddenly tried to go after Shiba Inu. There will be something else they go after, but the Doge never dies. Bitcoin's not going to die. Ethereum's not going to die. BNB is not likely to die unless somehow the Binance exchange completely collapses. I feel like that's unlikely, but I wouldn't take large positions in BNB right now, and I wouldn't keep if you're doing stuff in DeFi. I wouldn't put all your eggs on the Binance Smart Chain. So that being said, mitigate your risk, spread your risk around, and your timing has to be right. If you're purchasing now, dollar cost averaging in on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Dogecoin, Monero, all that stuff, you're going to be fine if you can hold for 2 or 3 years. If you're newer to these cycles, the down years that we've had is 2014, 2018, and 2022, where Bitcoin started higher at the beginning of the year than it ended at the end of the year. Those have been the down years, but overall, there's been more economic energy coming to crypto each cycle. Next cycle, probably $10 trillion asset class. Cryptocurrencies will continue. It's a snowball effect, domino effect, but snowball effect, more or less, keeps gaining momentum. This will continue. And one of my indicators is actually the way my parents act during the up cycles and the down cycles. They're a very good indicator for me of what just kind of idiot investors think, to be honest with you. Hate to put that on my parents, but that is just the fact. I've been in cryptocurrency since 2013. I said that it was the future in 2014. They didn't think I knew what I was talking about. Then this played out. Then the last cycle, I went in even heavier, in this last downturn, 2018, 2019. They literally told me, we don't see this really being anything. We don't see this kind of continuing. Once again, it banged. Dogecoin, 10,000% in 1 year. 10,000%. If you've been following me for a while, a lot of these plays, set myself up beforehand. I videoed this stuff. It's on the channel. I have a baseball team called the California Dogecoin before all that happened. So that being said, you guys are following me because you feel like I have some insight maybe over what others might be able to, that they're going to be able to provide timing wise, and my feelings towards this. Now, a lot of guys, they're chartologists, they draw a bunch of lines. Most of it's, and this is actually sucks a lot of people in. Oh, well, this person says that this, and oh, this is making this cup and handle pattern, or this is doing this, and a lot of times they're looking at it too close time frame. They're new to it, but it's interesting to see the amount of new people to crypto will just kind of follow, you know, a bunch of idiots just that are brand new, and then you hear what they're saying. It's like those guys don't know what they're talking about. But people always just kind of chase after that. It's not a big benefit for me to make videos at this point. Maybe I just like to hear myself talk, but I'm going to tell you my thoughts on this whole thing. Bitcoin and Ethereum look extremely weak right now. A lot of stuff coming up for Bitcoin and Ethereum that's not going to be probably that pleasant. For one thing, the overall market conditions in the world, inflation is just chewing people apart. Food cost, energy cost, it is cold. In the Midwest, if you guys maybe are from another country and stuff like that, Midwestern United States, 0 degrees. Right now it's 14 degrees Fahrenheit. It's cold. If they don't have wood burning stoves, they're using a lot of fuel. They're using a lot of electricity to try to heat their houses. People are trying to stay warm. People that got stuck in their cars, they died. It's that cold. It's 0 degrees Fahrenheit. Your nose hairs freeze if you're walking around. It is deadly, and it was -8 degrees at night. Honestly, I don't even know how the deer survived. I don't know how these birds survived. But they're thug, you know. They can thug it out, and I'm sure some of them died. So you gotta make it through this market. If you're buying now, your dollar cost averaging in on Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, Litecoin, Monero, Dogecoin, and you can hold for 2 or 3 years, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine, but it's getting there is the issue. It's getting there is the issue. So Bitcoin and Ethereum look weak. There's a lot of people that levered against Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I think a lot of that stuff is going to come to fruition as we go lower than people thought we were going to go. They always think, they kind of buy into the marketing pitch that, oh, this is the future, and it is the future. But again, don't fall in love with these this whole asset class. Don't fall in love with any of these. Move in and out of it when necessary, when it makes sense, and it's what you do. So sometimes it makes sense to be heavier in real estate. Sometimes it makes sense to be heavier in crypto. Sometimes it makes sense to be heavier in stocks and options. People talk about precious metals. I like precious metals, but I don't like them. They've not really performed that well in comparison to inflation. Silver has not performed that well. Silver was like $20 in 2013 when I got in Bitcoin. Bitcoin has performed way better than silver. And how much inflation has there been since 2013? A lot. So keep that in mind. If you want to, if you think that their gold is going to make a push, you could rotate into Paxos Gold. There are some crypto options to get involved in that. Or if you're on Uphold, you can switch into some of the precious metals and switch in and out of them. If you want to hold gold bars, gold coins, all that kind of stuff like that, you can do that as well. But I just don't, if things got that bad, it's just not a very liquid market. It'd be very hard to get in and out of that. Personally, that's just me. I see it as an old world thing. I think it's cool. I like to hold a bag of silver coins, or like hold it in my hand like it's heavy. It's cool. But at the end of the day, if we had some kind of apocalyptic scenario, it's going to be canned food, shotguns, shotgun shells, other weapons, firewood, that kind of stuff, equipment, vehicles. That's what would, if things got that bad, that's what would be like more valuable, in my opinion. But whatever, if you can do what you want. You want to go heavy in gold and silver or diversify into that, you can. That being said, there's still the Binance FUD for BNB. So I wouldn't go too heavy on that. I wouldn't put all your eggs in the Binance Smart Chain if you're doing DeFi related stuff. I'd be a little bit weary of that. I wouldn't go 100% into that. Bitcoin and Ethereum, like I said, people have levered against it. So then as we get some capitulation moves to the downside, could have this cascading liquidation scenario, which, makes these wicks go extremely low. What kind of price points do I see for this stuff? Again, Bitcoin sub 15,000, but, very likely under 12. And honestly, I could see as low as 8, to be honest with you. That could take a couple months to play out. Could take until March, really, to kind of play out, maybe even longer. There's a bit of patience that has to be exercised. I'm not getting to, I am licking my chops at some of the prices, but I'm not getting too overly excited because I see what happened last time. We had literally 3 major events where you could purchase in. You're going to have other opportunities. So if you are building positions, be prepared to hold for years. The peak is likely going to be Q4 of 2025 if the cycles repeat themselves, which they have been. It's been honestly staying very close to it. And why is that? Because people's emotions and people's reaction to these crashes is very, very similar. They get pressed out. It takes a while. It takes a year plus. People to get pressed out for this stuff to long tail out. Now, long tail has to go for a while before people can continue to allocate until the sellers are exhausted and they're pressed out completely. And then we start to get upward momentum. And it doesn't happen too quick, immediately. And then we have the halvening events, which kind of accelerates that situation because supply becomes thinner. And then you don't have as many sellers. They've been pressed out. They're going to sell. They already sold. And then the buyers kind of take command kind of thing. And then it starts to go up, and then people start to chase it. So you want to be in position, but you don't want to necessarily dump in too soon. And then you're holding this kind of upside down position for a long time. And I think this is a big reason why Richard Hart has not released a pulse chain. He's waiting for the moment this thing bottoms so he can just kind of declare, hey, this has been blue skies the entire time. The pulse chain has been out and it's done this much of a multiple, 20x, 50x, 100x. He's waiting for that moment. He's flexing on everybody. The Prada fit, the Louis Vuitton fit. I mean, it is kind of funny, but I'm not invested in Pulse Chain. I didn't sacrifice, and I'm not in Hex right now. But I'm watching, and I'm laughing. Some people might not be laughing. He's not getting very many likes on Instagram. Now, that being said, what are some other price points that I see? Again, Bitcoin, sub 15, but probably sub 12. Can see it as low as 8,000. Be ready to buy. Be ready. Be watching. What as far as Ethereum, sub 500 is what I'm looking for. We have a couple things coming up. Looks very weak. Very, very weak. There's not a lot of activity going on. With the fees and all that kind of stuff like that, it's still people gravitate to these other chains, but then people have been exhausted. It doesn't make as much sense. Is it worth the contract risk for some of these DeFi plays? And people got pressed out. So there's less activity. A lot of the farming tokens just got bled out. So got that going on. Ethereum slow. Bitcoin slow. There's problems with all these chains, guys. Yeah, I mean, I'm not delusional about this. It's been a little bit frustrating to me, but we still had these aggressive price moves, but they look weak. They're slow. There's problems with all of them. So, and I've never seen a tech industry that moves this slow and has gotten away with this. You couldn't get away with this in a cell phone market. People wouldn't be waiting, 6 years for the next iPhone or the next Samsung Galaxy. That just doesn't play. You know, the competition does not allow that. It moves quicker. So I don't know why it's worked for these chains to be this inefficient. It's kind of a weird thing. It's like I see, like, if you step away from it and then you kind of see, okay, this and that happened. It's like, okay, this is a step forward. Okay, this is cool. This is cool. But then it's just never, it never just kind of quite gets there. It's kind of like this carrot that's out there. Now, that being said, you know, realize what it is. It's an asset class to move into, make profits, get back out to tangible assets. And that is what it is. So sub 500 for Ethereum. Going to have an inflation bomb that's going to come up. They're saying that it is going to be March of 2023 when a lot of the rewards that people staked on the Beacon chain, when it went to proof of stake, that's going to happen in March 2023. So we'll see if that happens. And a lot of those people are going to be probably pressed out because of inflation and other expenses and this and that and the other. They're going to have to sell some of that. And I just don't see a lot of developments happening on Ethereum because it's so slow. And then it's probably going to get pressed out. So see sub 500. You know, some of their stuff, Doge, you know, sub 5 cents. It's going to go below 5. And I would say, like, I could see it going down to 3 cents, you know, those kind of prices. It's going to be a, you know, opportunity to stack more, stack more, stack more, stack more. Doge never dies. So, Litecoin, they're still, it's going to hold up a little bit better. But I'm really hoping we get a capitulation move down below 50. Down below 50 here in the next few weeks when this thing really collapses out. And the buyers are exhausted. They're pressed out. They have to pay this, that, and the other off. And, you know, these expenses came up and everything's breaking down because everything's frozen solid and it's cold. So could have some opportunities there. Monero, I mean, I'm hoping Monero goes below 100, I guess, but I don't know. We'll see. A couple of ones holding up a little bit better. Tron's held up a little bit better. Cosmos is interesting. The Thor chain is interesting. The continued development there. And if you don't know, Thor chain is, you can do cross-chain swaps. Basically, you could trade from like Litecoin to Bitcoin, or Bitcoin to Ethereum, or Ethereum to dogecoin. So that is an innovation. Continues to be thing, but I don't know if you should take a position in Rune or not. The tokenomics on it kind of seem interesting. I don't know if you should take a position. I've never had a position in it. There's other stuff I'm licking my chops at. We're gonna get opportunities over the next year to either gain very significant fractions of a percentage of some of these chains, or even be able to take over entire projects. And then if you do that, that's one of the things I'm looking at. Can I take over some of these chains? Now we're talking like lower market cap stuff. We're not talking like the top 50 things or something like that. I'm not going to be able to do that. I'm talking lower market cap stuff, and if I could gain a tangible percentage of it and be able to dictate kind of the future of it, that is something I'm looking at. So there is the possibility of that. And then, you know, but if you do that, you really kind of have to take charge in promoting it and developing on that chain. And that is a worry sometime. Now, that is advantageous because you don't have to do some sort of ICO or be under the thumb of the SEC potentially, that you could do this, or it's already on exchanges, so they've maybe already paid into that earlier, and then you're not really kind of paying for that, but you're going to have to sort of promote it and really kind of get behind it. So I'm looking at those opportunities as well. So that being said, guys, you're going to have a year plus to take positions. I wouldn't sweat it if you're not completely in position right now. You're going to have time, and people are going to be getting pressed out of a lot of assets. Real estate, they're going to be getting pressed out of their cars. Repos are heating up. And So there will be opportunities. Anyway, guys, again, Merry Christmas, and hopefully you're staying warm. This phone is going to die. The cold just like burns these batteries. So, well, guys, follow me on all social media, at Brian Phobos, YouTube, Instagram, Steam, Twitter, DTube, Hive, everywhere. See you guys.